Good morning and welcome to day 3 of our training. How are you doing so far? Have you done the previous 2 days? Because we've pared our 30 days of training down to just 7 days to help you get started faster and to give you less busy work, it is super, super important, vital even, that you do every single day in order so that you can keep up and so that you don't miss a very important detail. So have you done day 1 on the 3 vital behaviors? Are you doing them every day? Have you done day 2 and gotten comfortable navigating your back office? No? I'm going to wait. Hit pause and go back to day 1 or day 2, whichever you missed, and get caught up. Did you do it? Okay, you're back and you're caught up, yeah? Okay, let's do this for real. So today we are going to talk about time management and your power hour, which you probably have heard and you're not quite sure what that means. And we're also going to talk about ways to put those two things together to help you get the most done in the short amount of time that everyone probably has. So first of all, time management. We tell a lot of people when they're considering coaching that if they can put in 1 hour a day on this business, that their business will grow steadily. It may not grow quickly with just 1 hour a day, but it will grow steadily and you will see the benefits of that. But if that 1 hour of your day is spent, being distracted by the Facebook news feed or distracted by the kids or distracted by whatever, you're probably not going to get enough done and you're going to find yourself spending 2 or 3 or 4 hours that you didn't have and still not feel like you're getting everything done. So that's where we're going to talk about what needs to be done in your power hour. If you want to effectively manage your time with this business, number 1, no distractions. You've got to find a time that everyone can leave you alone, that you can just focus on just your business. And speaking of business, is this a hobby for you? Or do you truly want to make this a business? Do you want to make this into something that will replace a full-time job? Make it possible for you to stay home with your kids? Make it possible for your spouse to stay home? Do you want something that will help you pay off some debt? Or go on vacations that you can't afford right now? Do you actually want this to become something valuable in your family's life, or is it just a hobby? I'm pretty sure most of you want it to be something big because you know that there is so much potential in this business. But it is not going to get to that point if you treat it like a hobby. You treat this like it is $1 million investment. This is $1 million business because that's what you could earn if you treat it like it is. So, if you were to run a business with a storefront, say you're selling boutique items, and you actually have a store that people come in, you have hours, they come in, they shop, they buy, they leave. Can you just show up whenever it's convenient? No, you have to have business hours and you have to stick to them and you have to be on time and you cannot close early. Can you just be kind of loosey-goosey with your receipts and have paperwork strewn all over and just not really pay much attention to it? You could, but you wouldn't last very long. So no, you would be more organized, efficient, and maybe even ask for help from someone in your family or a friend who's more familiar with accounting to help you get started. Could you show up one day and skip the next? Because it's just crazy today. We got a lot going. So I'm just not going to open the store today. Again, you could, but you would lose your clientele and nobody would want to shop there. And you'd shut down. So if you can treat this business like you would a business with a storefront, you will be so much more successful than if you treat it like a Facebook hobby. You set business hours. What time of day are you going to spend on your business? If you're giving it the minimum and you only have an hour a day, you work full time or whatever it may be, set a time of day that you're undisturbed, early in the morning, late at night, whatever it has to be, and work for that full hour. Set a timer if you have to. Shut down everything that could distract you that you don't need for your business that day. As your business grows and you have a team answering to you, you'll probably spend a little bit more time on it, but you'll be making the money to make it worthwhile. You need to set business hours, and you need to let your team know when you're available. Now, I'm the first to admit I'm terrible at this because I don't have another job. Well, I don't have another job that I have to do. I'm home with my kids all day, and I love what I do as a coach. I love it. So it's really hard for me to shut down and walk away and unplug and stick to business hours. So you can hold me accountable today too, because this is something I'm going to be doing. But you set your business hours, you let your family know what you're doing, you put those hours into your daily schedule, and then you stick with them consistently. That's why it's so important to pick a time of day that's not going to be interrupted by something else. 5 a.m. if it has to be. When are you going to have something interrupt you at 5 a.m. besides a little bit of sleep? Well, yeah, it would be really easy to hit snooze and go back to sleep, but if you had $1 million on the line, would you do that? I don't think so. No way. So treat it like $1 million business. Stick to your power hour, to your business hours. You also have to be consistent with this. You have to be consistent with the 3 vital behaviors and the time that you put into it. Because if you put in an hour today and an hour on Friday, and Saturday is really busy, so you're going to skip it, but Sunday is really calm, so you're going to put in 2 hours and try and make up for it. You're inconsistent. And so all these people who are watching you on Facebook are thinking, are they doing this or not? You know, they were real gung-ho for a few days, and then I didn't hear from them for a few days, and now they're back. You know, so they're never going to make it, and they're going to be really cynical and judgmental. But then on the other side, even if they're not really watching you that closely, they're going to forget about you. If you're not posting consistently every day, they don't think about you. How often do you go to Facebook and think, I haven't seen a post from this one business in a while. I wonder what's going on over there. I should go check it out. Do you do that? No, you never do that. You look at what's there, and that's it. So if you're not there in their news feed, they're going to forget about you. They're going to forget about Beachbody, or they're going to find another coach. You need to be consistent. You've got to post daily. So with that in mind, I would suggest scheduling your posts. Now, if you're working from a personal Facebook page, you can't actually type them up and schedule it, but you can make a list of things that you want to post, and then you can get out that August calendar that I posted in the group, and we'll have one for September and every other month. You can print out that calendar or use one of your own, a daily planner, and you can look at which days we're preparing for a sneak peek group to get new coaches, and you can look at when our challenge groups are going to start and think about how far in advance you need to have people buying their challenge packs. You can look at your list of posts that you want to make for the month and schedule them. Write them in on your calendar. Post about Shakeology. Post about my transformation. Post about what coaching has done for my life. Post about a challenger's transformation. There's so many things. If you need help with ideas, we'll set it up in the group and we'll talk. But sit down, brainstorm a list of post ideas, and then schedule those posts out. So that if you really are down to just 1 hour a day that you can work this, all you have to do is pull out your calendar and be like, this is my post for today. I'm going to post at this time. And you can type it out and have it all ready to go. Another thing you can do to really help you be consistent with your posting, because we recommend 3 to 5 posts on Facebook every day. And if you're running Instagram, there's posts there as well. So another thing you can do is to set a daily schedule. So, say 8 a.m. you post something motivational, and 1 p.m. you post a recipe, and 6 p.m. you post your, something else, a tip, a fitness tip, and 8 p.m. you post your big transformation, or the one that you really want people to see, because evening seems to be when the most people see your post. So on your calendar, make a daily schedule. What time are you posting? It's so much easier if you're in the grocery store and it's 8 o'clock. That's really early for the grocery store. But if you go in the grocery store at 8 o'clock and you look at the clock and you're like, oh, 8 o'clock, I should be posting right now. Well, it's a motivational one. So you go to your gallery of motivational quotes and you post one real quick while you're standing in the produce aisle, and boom, your business is still moving forward. You didn't have to stop and think about it for an hour. You're still getting the rest of your errands done, and people are seeing you and they're watching you and they're seeing your consistency. So prepare a daily schedule and have an idea what you want to post when every single day, and put it in your phone. Use your phone. Your phone, if you're anything like me, you don't go anywhere without it. You don't go to the other side of the house without your phone. So put this stuff in your phone with reminders to remind you it's time to post on Facebook or Instagram, to remind you that today you need to post about Shakeology, or to remind you that today is the National Wake Up Call and you need to make time for that. Put this stuff in your phone and let it help you remember. So, can you see how having a schedule like this would help you save time? You're not coming to your computer and sitting down and looking at your big list of things you're supposed to do and going, where do I start? Where do I start? Okay, well, I should post something. Well, now what? What do I post? And then you get a vague idea of something you want to post, and then you spend the next 20 minutes trying to write it out and figure it out. And before you know it, your hour's done. You've posted one thing and maybe added a few people to your network. That's not going to get you anywhere. But if you can sit down and look at your schedule and you're like, okay, this is my post for today. This is my big post about my transformation. So I'm going to hurry and type this up, and I'm going to save it in a Word document or in my notes in my phone. I'm going to have it all typed up and ready today. And then I'm going to move on to expanding my network and inviting in the 3 vital behaviors. It's a huge, huge time saver. And it's going to help you so much to push your business forward with limited amount of time. Even if you have a lot of time to give this, do you really want to spend 5 hours a day and still only get done what could be done in an hour? No, if you're spending 5 hours a day, you should be inviting 20 people every day. So make sure that you use your time wisely so that the time you do put into this will correlate with how quickly your business grows, and you'll be able to see those rewards. Now your power hour. It's basically your 1 hour a day to focus solely on the business and get everything done. You spend time in that power hour to do your 3 vital behaviors. Maybe not your workout. It's probably, your workout you probably don't really consider part of the business, though it is. But if you can spend an hour on inviting, so that's personal invitations, expanding your network, building relationships, and posting on Facebook. Remember, there's 4 steps in inviting. If you can spend that hour doing all your inviting, and if you can spend that hour, part of that hour, 20 minutes on your personal development, first thing, you are going to see your business take huge strides, and especially if you can be consistent with this. So you're going to hear us refer a lot to your power hour. We want to see what you're doing in your power hour. We want to know that you're being consistent and that you're focusing and getting the things done that you need to get done to grow your business, because if we can't see that you're doing those things, we can't really help you take it a step further. So pick a time of day to be your power hour. If you have lots of time and you're like me, then it's more like a power of 3 hours. I try to put in 3 a day. But find out what will work for you, what will work for your family. Communicate with your family. Let them know this is my job now, and I'm very serious about succeeding, and these are my business hours, and I need you to help support me in this. Let them know, and try to be supportive of them and understanding of the difficulties it may cause to them. So you don't want to plan your power hour for dinner time. That's not going to go over real well with family, so make sure that this is going to jive with the family schedule. Do everything in your power to make sure that you pick a time of day that no one's going to interfere with so that you can be consistent. And I promise you will see huge, huge progress with your business. Another thing that is going to save you a lot of time, we call it, if I could not blank, we call it your master list. The master list is just a list of friends and family and acquaintances whom you would like to invite to join a challenge group or to become a coach. You spend some time brainstorming this list, and this is something you could even do outside of your power hour when you're sitting in a doctor's office or you're sitting at a soccer practice for your kids or whatever. Carry your notebook with you, or if you take your notes in your phone, and just brainstorm lists of names. We ask you to have at least 100 names on your list all the time. 100 names to choose from. Now, why do you need that many? You can't even talk to that many people in a week, probably. Well, you could, but maybe not if you're just doing minimum hour. But if you have a list of 100 people, there are going to be days that you'll go to that list thinking, okay, who am I going to invite? And you'll think, okay, I'm going to start at the top and I'm just going to work my way down my list. But then you're going to look at a name and you're going to be like, oh, why did I put them on this list? I don't feel like I can invite them because of this or this or this. And you'll skip them. So the great thing about having a list of 100 or more is that you have a ton of options, and you can look for the people that feel right. Look for the names that jump out to you that make you think, yeah, I think they really need this, or I think they would really be interested, or I feel good about inviting them. And it just gives you the options to pass over the ones that you're nervous about for a bit until it feels right. Because I'm a strong believer that if you don't feel right about messaging a certain person, not just, hey, I'm nervous to send out invitations, period, but if you see a certain person's name and you're like, I know they need this, but I don't feel like I should invite them, I'm a firm believer that that prompting is probably for good reason, and that you should probably pass them over, make a note, remember them, and try again another day. Because if you invite too many people at a time that they're not ready, for some people it will put a total block out for them, and they will just block any mention of a challenge group. So use your instincts and listen to those promptings and invite the people that it feels good to invite today. And then if you have your list of 100, just continually be adding to it. You'll be crossing names off. I'll show you one of mine. I have many. I'm a messy note taker. See that? That's one of my big lists. I will message people, and I'll get some who say, well, I already have a coach, and so I'll cross them off my list. But if you find someone who already has a coach, that doesn't mean you just cold turkey them and walk away and stop talking to them. Ask them what program they're doing and ask them how they like it, and coach them even though they have a different coach. Because number one, people are going to start to be really irritated if you're like, well, you're only good enough to be my friend if you sign up with me. Not what we want to be. And two, you just never know, because there are a lot of people who have coaches who don't do anything or who don't support them the way they need. So they could really use your support. So don't just drop someone because they already have a coach. Anyway, sorry, tangent. So create your master list. And it might be really hard to get past like 30 people. You'll start thinking, who else am I going to put on here? We're going to put a document in the files section of the training group called the Memory Jogger. And it just has some questions to help you think about other people that you know that maybe you don't talk to on a daily basis, and help you think of names to put on that list and people to invite. Another thing that I like to do when my list is running low is to just go into my friends list on Facebook. Plug in the letter A or start with Z, whatever. Plug in a letter and go through all the friends whose names start with that letter. And, you'll see names and you'll be like, oh no. That's my grandma and she's not even physically able to do anything. But then you might see a cousin that you haven't talked to in a long time. Well, send them a message and say hello. Put them on your list. Save them for another day. But start building that relationship. So when you come in for your power hour, if you can pull out your list, your master list, when it's time to start sending invitations, you can look at that list and you can be like, I've been talking to them a lot lately. I feel comfortable messaging them. You send out your 2 to 5 or 10 or whatever invitations, and then you go and expand that list by building some relationships and like, well, I'm going to catch up with this person. I'm going to put them on my list for later. But right now I'm going to send them a message to catch up. So much less effort every day in your power hour if you have a list to work from. You don't have to go searching every single day and like trying to figure out who to invite because you have a list to work from. So create your master list today. It's not that hard. Use the memory jogger. And I'm also going to upload something called the BAT. It's the Business Activity Tracker. It's kind of cool. They've changed it recently so that you can either print it out to fill in all your information, or you can fill it in online and save it. So whichever way works better for you. We haven't been very consistent with our business activity trackers in our team. And that's something that I think we're going to have to change, because when a coach comes to me and says, why isn't this working? I work on this every day. Why isn't anyone joining? I can't really tell them because I don't really know what they've done and what they haven't. But the business activity tracker, you write down every day how many invitations you sent, how many people you presented the business to, how many people you added to your network. You write down all of those things. So it makes it easy for you and for your sponsoring coach to look at that and say, okay, look, there's a gap here. You're not spending enough time on this. And to kind of help you balance it all out and make sure you're putting enough effort into all aspects of the vital behaviors. So I'm going to upload the memory jogger and the business activity tracker. What I would like to see from you today is to have you comment below and post a picture, just a quick snapshot with your phone of your master list. Now, some of you are going through training for a second time. You've been through this. You don't have to do a whole new list if you already have one going. Just show us a picture of it. Show the new coaches what it looks like. But if you're a new coach and you haven't done this yet, this is priority numero uno today. Get your master list done and get your schedule done. Show me a picture of your master list, and you know what? I'm going to say your master list or your calendar all filled in. I want to see one or the other of those. And then with the business activity tracker for my personally sponsored coaches, I'm going to start asking you to send that to me every Sunday so that we can spend some time together going over what you've done for the week and setting some goals to help you have success. So my personally sponsored coaches, that BAT in the files section is vital. It's mandatory. It's required. If your sponsoring coach is Lacey or one of the other coaches, that will be for them to decide if they want to do that. But I would highly recommend using the BAT anyway, simply because it's a really good tool if you can get in the habit of it. So that's everything for today. Post your list. I want to see a picture of it or your calendar. And make sure that you're not skipping any steps, because if you want this to be successful, you've got to do it all. Have a great day, guys.